Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we are going to talk about the best and fastest way to clear PvE content as a Crusader in Diablo Immortal. I'll go over the build, how I've got mine set up, and then I will show you live unedited footage back to back to back, so you can see I'm not just fishing for good luck or something like that, and you can see what it is actually capable of. So let's get into it. Alrighty, now first of all, right out the gate, I took off all damage dealing, whatever, set bonuses, all of that. So this is just a generic legendary build revolving around essences. And maybe later on, once I get into Hell 5 and I really min-max the set bonuses that I'm gonna grind, once I hit 240 Paragon here, either tonight or tomorrow, and I begin the set grind in Hell 5, we can revisit what the effect is once I get certain sets set up around a build like this, and we'll see if we can cross-reference that and see if it performs better than just this essence-based build. But this should be a build that all of you can replicate pretty close to, as long as you are farming on the Crusader enough to get most of the essences you're going to need for a playstyle like this. So then let's establish what skills we want to use for clearing PvE content on the Crusader. And I think for the most part, for most builds, the draw and quarter, the consecration, and the holy banner are probably going to be three staples that you want for clearing PvE content consistently. After that, in that fourth spot, I went with sweep attack, and I'll show you why when we get into the essence powers that I chose and the rotation of the abilities and how I'm playing it when I'm actually clearing something like an Elder Rift. But you can mix and match in that fourth spot based on something you like. Some people like Judgment just to kind of deal damage in a circle. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Some people prefer the spinning shield or something to give you a little bit more ability, like falling sword. Conjuration of light can do some cool things. Condemn can have a big radius and blow up for some damage. So there are a lot of different ways to go about it, and you can play around in that fourth spot with something that kind of fits how you want to play. I like the sweep attack, and I'll show you why once we get into the actual footage in game. So yeah, anyway, draw and quarter as the mobility ability, sweep attack as ability 1, consecration as ability 2, and then our holy banner obviously to give us the insane buff and help us crank out tons of damage. Then as we dive into the essences, we'll just go in order here. The helm. So Arrow Keeper is going to be one of the better essences that the Crusader has available to them. It is going to make the Holy Banner now move with you, which is obviously insanely strong, especially when you see how I play the sweep attack, kind of moving around and dealing damage. On the armor, we're going to go with Consecration Radius. We're planting down that circle of DPS, and as it grows outward, we are greatly increasing the surface area of the damage that we are able to use with the consecration. On the shoulders, we are going with the Folly of Zakarum to get the Holy Banner duration by 30%. Absolutely massive. Holy Banner has a huge cooldown, so it is nice to get that bump on the duration there. On the pants, unfortunately, we don't really have a great essence to put on the pants, unfortunately. We do get some cool effects on the draw and quarter ability, like damages them when you run them over, or it puts a fire blaze behind you while you're running. But the problem is that they have this little caveat in here, but it no longer drags enemies. So I don't want that. I want to be able to drag things around and set up a kill circle and then drop a bunch of DPS, especially when I'm clearing something like an Elder Rift. So it makes me not want to use those. But if you like those, could be decent. If you have the Blaze one and kind of draw a circle, do a bunch of damage or something, and then drop your banner and start killing stuff, could maybe make sense. But I don't like to lose the ability to drag enemies. So I personally didn't really go with any of them. If you use Condemn in the flex spot, you could do the Condemn radius by 28%. Would be great. Conjuration of light and some different things you could go with, but unfortunately with the build that I was going with, there wasn't really a whole lot that made sense on the pants slot, so I just did the fun one of can carry a passenger with draw and quarter. Then on the weapon, I went with the Caravans because we're going to get Sweep Attack. Now consumes energy to continually damage all nearby enemies. Works great when you group things up. You pop banner and you just start spinning damage. While you've already got Consecration on the ground, you are cranking out DPS and just able to absolutely blast everything that is around you. And then there really isn't, similarly to the pants, there really isn't anything amazing on the offhand, unfortunately, as well. Then for the offhand, again, there isn't any amazing options in my opinion, but if you do go with Condemn in the flex spot, there are a couple decent ones like Condemn Damage and also kind of detonating right when it hits something. So could go with that, but with the build that I was going with, there wasn't anything that made super sense because I didn't want to give up the Sweep Attack. You'll see how much DPS that can crank out when I'm grouping stuff up in the way that I'm playing it. So I just went with the, while Punish has granted you hardened senses, your blocks will trigger an explosion, dealing some AoE damage, and then you just have to make sure you use the primary that pairs with that. And it says it right there on the skill. You just got to make sure you use Punish, and then you can see strike an enemy for damage and gain hardened senses, increasing your block chance, and it will pair with that offhand essence that we just talked about. The legendary gems are a whole other can of worms that I know is going to be different on each one of you and where you're at in the game and what your spending tier is and how much you play the market, how much you flip things and all of that. So I'm not really going to tell you exactly what 6 to use. But if you're curious on the ones that I use, I do actually have a couple more accessible ones in 1-star gems because I've got the Carson's Invigoration right here and also the Berserker's Eye as 2 1-star gems. And then after that, I've got some tougher ones. I've got the Bottled Hope and the Blessing of the Worthy. This is actually the luckiest I've ever gotten. I'm not a whale by any sense, but I did spend a decent amount. And I only found 1 gem ever that was above a 2-star. If I got a 3-star or a 4-star or anything, I had to earn it by flipping things in the market. The luckiest I ever got, I got a 5-star Blessing of the Worthy to drop and made sure to slide that in my gear and try my best to upgrade it as fast as possible. And then we've got the Blood-Soaked Jade and the Seeping Bile. I had to get these by flipping things in the market and really going hard in the paint, spending hours on trying to manipulate that every day. I was able to get a couple of those as well. But that's the gems that I use. Now I want to dive into showing you the playstyle and how I go about actually doing the build and what you should expect the clear time on something like an Elder Rift to be. So, all right, let's go ahead and fire up the footage right here. I am going to have it on 5x speed so that we're able to get through it a lot faster and be able to show you as much as I can here in a condensed video. So I will show you after this the actual slow rotation, and I'll explain it in detail if this is too fast and confusing you. But yeah, this is unedited footage. This is just me running like 3 or 4 riffs. There we go, 1:25 right out the gate, first one. So now you're going to see me with the downtime here that I didn't edit out because I want you to know that this is not me fishing for good luck for a video. This is just me running, I think it's like 3 or 4 riffs. But okay, so we got, what was like a 1:25, that first one. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our horse first, and we're going to run around, group things up, dragging things together, and then we're going to drag into a circle. Then we're going to drop our banner, drop our consecration, and then run around with sweep attack in that whole area that we've clumped up. Now we're on the Rift Guardian again, and looks like this one's going to be 1:50. So what I'm noticing is about 1:20 to 2 minutes, somewhere in there. There's a lot of RNG, so 1:20 to 2 minutes, you're going to expect your rifts to go, which is honestly pretty decent. To average about 1:35, 1:40 with the Crusader is a pretty solid build for PvE content. And we'll see what this one comes up. We're about 75% of the way through. And so far, we're averaging like 1:35 or so. And then this one here, 1:36. Yeah, so I'm going to say it's going to average about 1:35 to 1:40 and be pretty fast with the Crusader. It looks like I did one more. Let's see what time we get here. But yep, you see me just grouping stuff up. And yellows can be a little bit rough. Sometimes you may even want to skip the yellow mobs. They can cost you about 5 or 6 seconds on those yellows because they take so long to kill when you're doing speed runs. There we go, and we got to the Rift Guardian at a decent pace. Drop our banner, drop our damage on the RG, burst it down. That one was 1:50. So, yep, you could see 1:45, whatever, pretty fast for PvE content, and definitely coming in under the 2-minute mark. I would say usually that's about the threshold of if a build is good or not. Like, can you consistently do Elder Rifts in under 2 minutes? If not, you may want to try other options. If you're up at like 230, 3 minutes or so, you may be there may be an opportunity to grow there for your build to explore other options. It's kind of how I go about it. Let me know if you think about it differently and what your clear speeds are and all that. But I was pretty stoked to get my clear times down to about a minute 30, minute 35, somewhere in there with the build that I'm using here. But like I said, I do want to show you in a more explained fashion on exactly how I'm playing the rotation of these skills. So when a rift starts, what we're going to do is wait until we engage some mobs, and then we're going to steed charge so that we are dragging some stuff to ideally find a blue pack. Just like that, we drag things around this blue pack, and then we're going to drop banner, consecration, and then we're going to hold down sweep attack to kill everything in the area. Look at all of the crit numbers. And then we'll have about 5 seconds left on steed, and we will start dragging stuff to the next rotation. Get around a blue mob. Ideally, it doesn't look like we're going to, so we drop, and then we sweep attack everything in the area. Usually there'll be stragglers coming from behind you, so it's a good opportunity to kind of go backwards typically. Now, there is a blue down there. Let's go ahead and drag stuff in that direction if we can. I usually like to steed charge with about 5 seconds left on banner. We get the double pack here, banner and consecration, sweep attack, and then kill the stragglers behind. And we got the progress there on the double elite pack. Boom, and we're off to the races with like what's going to be probably like a minute 40 Elder Rift or so. So yeah, hopefully this helped give you some ideas for a build to use clearing PvE content for the Crusader. And as always, let me know down below what you're using. I'm willing to try it out and listen to other input as well. But remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy Diablo Immortal content, and I will see you soon in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.